compare to now, after just a confirmation that we have not located any extras that you might be able to use?
No, we're in the upstairs. Wow, that's very amazing. Okay.
Yeah, so now we'll have to do the process of getting what, but I'll keep you with the,
Okay.
are you good for now?
I am.
All right, I'll be upstairs feeding you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. at Dana's house.
Good morning, all. We're just waiting for a
was here
forum
last week,
here
too.
at the city.
And I'm gonna be
hall.
here.
So, give us a
I'm gonna
couple
be
of
here
minutes.
next
Hey, Courtney. Good, how are you? Oh, is it? Is it because of the meeting? Okay, 10:07. Yes, we're good to go.
Let's do a quick roll call. John, where are you? You're here.
John Schulman is here. Jerry Stein is here.
Hugh Biber.
Bill.
Miranda Barry.
And we have a quorum, meetings called to order. First order of business is a public hearing.
Okay, we have, this is for 421 Warren Street. And I'm hoping that we have the applicant online. We do not, okay. It's the illuminated sign, 41 by 41 inch hanging sign on a simple bracket, and it is internally illuminated with the lettering, the outline of the lettering being illuminated.
And the bracket is new, right? Not
I gotta look outside.
is it outside? I don't know, Mr. Curran is going to be here.
We have his contact info. Oh,
Uh, Let's see, is Craig online? Craig was online.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Craig. Did Ryan Curran reach out to you? He is, his sign application is up in the public hearing today.
I haven't heard from him other than his permit he was requiring for interior work. We could try and give him a call.
yes.
Okay, Hugh,
What's the number?
it's 860. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
5, it's this. This is the number.
Period. 860.
Just didn't want everyone to.
Prevention and building code. Some of the regulations, safety, enforcement and administration of the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code. And that's,
Hi, I'm looking for Ryan. Oh, it's not. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
I have that.
we just can't
Is it
read it.
86?
How about call Next Gen Signs? No,
It's,
it's 518 938
938.
1306.
Craig might have information on the bracket from the direction permit.
Okay. Craig,
Yes,
do you have information about the bracket that is being proposed as well? I'll share it.
Sorry, you're not gonna feel it. How are you doing? This is Hugh over here at Hudson Preservation Commission. Are you guys sitting in on that public meeting today for that Hudson Drive sign? Or,
Here is the
That's today.
Up on your screen here,
They're saying it's
Craig?
until the 25th, but it's not.
this simple bracket that I'm pointing to,
Hold on a second.
Yeah,
was that application for the bracket as well, or is it an existing bracket?
let me look here.
Saying it was postponed to the 25th. No, it's today.
Will you call Ryan?
Can you get Ryan, you have Ryan's info, I mean,
Sorry, folks, we're just getting this sorted out with, for the public hearing for
okay.
421.
I'll let thanks.
Yeah, we should,
We'll have to.
we can move on, guys.
Okay,
And come back to that.
okay.
And I'm sure we'll get Ryan at some point. Why don't we call the meeting to order?
What's the number?
Okay,
And, we're switching gears. We can come back to the public discussion, but we're going to, regular meeting. And first order of business is reading this. Questions or comments? Have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks very much. Jeremy, and you're in the second. All in favor, the minutes are approved as prepared by the, outstanding
These,
Jenny.
these particular minutes were a monumental accomplishment.
oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
0.
Next up, we have C of A continuations, and we have 119 Warren Street. That's the illuminated sign on Lower Warren Street, Taiga, the Russian restaurant. The applicant is here in person.
I appreciate it.
Want to tell us where you're at in the process? I know that Craig had, some issues that you might have jumped the gun a little in terms of putting it up, but he granted you permission to go forward. What else is happening?
Yes, so I can discuss with Greg that the sign can stay now, or it's not light up. And some of you committee members stopped by, which I really appreciate. And you notice that there's really not a replacement for the sign to be somewhere else. So I'm here, really asking for permission that the sign can stay. I didn't print the sign, but I think there's a picture of it. Those are beautiful and all the neighbors love it for passing by. So I really love you that.
Okay.
Sign would be
Well,
There are two things that relate to that sign. Additionally, the way the sign has been attached, you're basically a decorative column, which you and I talked about, which is kind of, I know it is an architectural feature of the building. And I realize it's regularly,
I don't know what he's
structure in front, to find any kind of space. For the sign, so other conundrums to consider. Questions or comments or thoughts from the public? Or you?
It's about this sign.
I think the
Yes.
sign attached to the fluted glass there is probably location is.
I know, and it's custom built to, and the way it's asking to require reviews, that I understand that it's on. I mean, it's long term, but certainly on a decorative column with nice striations in it, et cetera, and it's part of the feature of the entry. What would you suggest, Jeremy?
Hanging on a bracket, it's just the way it's attached to the end that is the challenge. But that it's attached to the columns.
Would you put the bracket above it?
Yeah, could you put the bracket?
There's no really, it's too small, and also between the windows, they're thin. So there's really no space, I mean, I would really love if some of you who didn't stop by, I would be happy to show in person. Because of course, on the photos, it also doesn't do, there's really no other space.
And is there a way to put a bracket on the top horizontal where the arrow is up there? And then have a bracket, let it hang down to that level? Just modify the sign to make it hanging?
Here is that,
Not up there, where the arrow is.
Right there.
Here, yes,
Put a bra,
it's too small and it's.
no, I'm saying, if you were to put a bracket off the building and then hang the sign out to where it
It would
is.
be a different design. It would be a different, it would be a different designs, yes. But what we really wanted to, so we really love the building and the neighborhood in general. So we tried to create a sign that is gentle, and it's not so big.
It's longer.
So I think this is goes very well with the whole building and people, and that's why we're designing this way. When the application, that was the big concern as well, to make sure that the sign is not too big. It's just gentle, simple, and it was really beautiful, the building.
My issue isn't with the sign itself, so the sign size, the typeface, the color, all of those, I don't have issue with that. I think it's the way it's attached to that pilaster, and it should have been a hanging sign in theory, it would have been less of an issue on the architecture, that's the piece that I'm thinking. So I like all the other elements, just the way it's kind of stuck onto that pilaster is the challenge that I have. I don't know if you want to hear other folks.
Miranda, thoughts?
Well, I think I too have some concerns about the pilaster. I was not able to stop by and I will do so because I think it's worth looking at what the
Please, I will be
setup is.
and so if you can, please.
But I do think this is,
Yes, tomorrow, yes.
we don't have music.
Yes.
I think code enforcement was having an issue with
Was
the fact that we didn't
internal-
go through any of the process.
Well, and also the internal illumination, it represents the same issues as the
Well, I
up
have-
and dry sign. And I think we were having a public hearing today to hear from the public on that issue. And maybe we should just, if we're not able to do the public hearing today, maybe we should postpone it to the next meeting and consider them both together because they offer.
We could also ask the public for different problems, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We can solicit feedback from the public on the channel to together, then we can sign it. And we have our own discussion with the channel. We have to deal with these. I think there's a variety of opinions. Like I said, I do want to speak on this one. I have a real concern about the precedent it sets for just fixing, I think the sign is beautiful, but fixing a sign to an architectural piece to a historic detail, especially when it's lovely, so those cast iron glass. So I think that is for me, that's huge trying to craft a compromise. Whether it's illuminated or not, that's fine, but I don't think this is something, I would not vote to issue it to be a appropriation.
Would it change anybody's thoughts or feelings, if there was sufficient space to, it is a beautiful sign
It is.
and really tastefully done. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm really not comfortable. I think the whole purpose to have a commission is to take the code and use 7 voices and community support to get to an appropriate level of specificity. Otherwise, I don't think that even supports the notion of having a commission like ourselves. That if it's not about specificity, then we can just write stuff up and they kind of don't need us. I don't agree that precedent is necessarily such a powerful word in the work that we're doing. Our precedent has to be the code. Otherwise, builders, contractors, and business owners don't have what they need to work with, and neither does code enforcement. Alternatively, we can try to rewrite code, and we'll need to get that through the council. But for us to use precedent and create our own code offline leaves me with a very uncomfortable feeling about the role of the commission.
It's hard for applicants then to understand when they're designing solutions, which way to go. If we have a perfect instance decision where we're like, well, we like it this way, we don't like it that way. I think it's hard for people to come with viable options.
We've been doing this a long time and have never run out of viable options.
Unfortunately, for whatever the reasons, this particular applicant was not aware of the process and, did
They were,
this.
they were
And
newcomers.
so, Craig would have stopped this at the beginning. He had applied.
Brenda, for first our discussion, would you be more comfortable with first of all, I don't consider this an illuminated sign. There's internal illumination, simply for the letter, the entire sign is illuminated. So there's a difference in terms of street presence. In this case, it also happens to be a rather small sign. Would you be comfortable with the sign with flush?
Well, I think that's one way where we have in the past, illumination. Finch, I think, was an example, and so was the Hudson Whaler Hotel, where the sign is flush to the building and there's illumination behind it. And it's natural materials, which the metal sign. My concern generally about illuminated signs is that they are if you think about where do you see illuminated signs, you see them mostly in shopping malls and places like that, where the issue is making the sign boldly visible to the public. And I think that's not what this is. I completely agree with that. But I think it's something that could really change the character of Warren Street if we start having lots and lots of illuminated signs. I think it's better when it's just the letters that are illuminated. But I do feel strongly that it's not that we're designing legislation. We're just trying to be a little bit consistent so that, as Jeremy was saying, people who are designing things can have some sense of what positions the commission is taking in the past so they can decide how they want to design. And I do think there are loads of things that are not covered in the statute that we have to opine on.
True that.
So I'd love to hear what John has to say about this.
I respectfully disagree with the chairman about the court's precedent. I don't think that we should arbitrarily approve one illuminated sign here, one not here, right? It doesn't give any guidance to the public, and it doesn't give any transparency to our public. So what concerns me is, when we approved it, we have rationale. We've articulated the rationale of the Whaler and Finch. We have the rationale of the above APON word. So, you can make a distinction here that it's below second. I don't know, it seems to me we're parsing out quite a lot of exceptions that will eventually become the rule. But I do think, I haven't heard from anyone in the public yet about their opinions of it. I do not love the idea of of Warren Street as an historic district that is populated by illuminated signs as far as the eye can see. It's a mile long. I do agree that there's a distinction aesthetically between lettering and full panel illumination, of course. But, I think the best practice, I tried to look into this in anticipation of this meeting, the best practices for historic districts generally are to not have wooden signs, historically appropriate signs that have exterior illumination. And we also don't have the mechanism for enforcing future wattage, right? I understand that this sign, we rely on the owner to turn it off at night. We'll rely on the owner to make certain the bulbs remain at a certain volume, but that is not something that has a mechanism for enforcing. So I don't find those findings very credible. If anyone in the public would like to speak, I think the commission would be very interested in it.
We have a public hearing scheduled on another sign, which is Hudson Drive.
That was supposed to be today.
Was supposed to be
He was
today,
told
and that, that's not happening, that would have been an opportunity for, it was designed to be an opportunity for the public to speak, but we don't have the applicant, we don't appear to have the public.
But he said he was told that it was postponed till next week.
Hmm?
2 weeks.
Said he received an email that it was postponed till the 25th.
Not for me.
That's what I said.
Public hearing is funding.
Nine petition.
He was, that's a part.
Partition, there was never,
He said he received an email and that's all I can tell you.
That she, that doesn't seem very fair to this applicant. And so we were looking for that public feedback to rule on this.
You were, I know, I mean, we could open it to the floor if you just want to take some general comments instead of having a formal public hearing while we wait for that. But I wanted to just point out, back to Jeremy's question earlier about the signs being on the pilaster and, you know, not having criteria. The criteria that you are applying is one, properties that contribute to the character of the historic district shall be retained with their historic features altered as little as possible. So, I mean, I think you're saying something, but you just need to be able to point to the code. So that is one of the provisions that would apply.
what paragraph is
That's
it? 169?
69-61. Historic features altered as little as possible.
Okay, that is understood. Does it say anything about the other stuff we're talking about?
So it talks about textures, materials, color in relation to their similar features of other properties in the neighborhood. So this is where that larger discussion comes into play, because once we set a general character for the neighborhood, that becomes a new standard for, you know, consistency and appropriateness, in some sense. And then, you know, we always look at design, character, and the scale of the proposed alteration. So those are the standards that we're always coming back to, and they're not as specific as, you know, no lit signs or nothing on the supplement, but they do give you guidance, and you do need to, as a board, because you have discretion, your decisions can't be arbitrary and capricious. And so if you make a decision in one case and a different decision in another case, there does need to be a rational basis for why you went one way in this situation and another way in another situation. And often that's, you know, the scale of the building, the character of the neighborhood, but you need to be able to articulate that.
So the underlying intents are to retain the aesthetic character of the street and the building. We've got, flush mounted signs under some of the markets in town that I will remain nameless, that are relatively speaking, large and hideous and not illuminated. And we're looking at, illuminated sign, so the source of electricity is internal rather than external. I don't understand that as a criteria. This is an absolutely beautiful design.
Mhm.
It's appropriate to the building and appropriate to the neighborhood. So when you talk about consistency, is the issue of what the source of the electricity is really what we want to be opining on? Let's say there were a light with a hood shining on that. Hold off on the pilaster right now, which would be many times more light under any circumstance than what's coming through that filtered lettering. That's better.
I think that's the question for the commission. Is internally illuminated signage appropriate in the district? And that's, you know, that's your discussion.
I think
We gotta differentiate somehow. If we're looking at impact on the street between some globular mass where the entire thing is lit up like McDonald's and something where there is only lettering, a relatively small area is being illuminated, and there's very little about that that's disruptive, I think.
I would say that with signs that are lit at night by a hooded bulb, put out far more light than this is probably 70% sign, 80% sign, and 30% illumination.
I understand.
And I think with today's technology, it is appropriate, you know, depending on how it's done. Sauerkraut, Rivertown Lodge, Flowerkraut, Rivertown Lodge, Manor Rock, they all have illuminated signs, wherever they are on the street, because we don't, and I think this is, aside from it being mounted the way it is, the sign itself to me is totally appropriate. And if you look at pictures of Hudson 40 years ago, the entire street was neon.
It's one of the things.
Yeah, that's the
Changed.
bigger, isn't it?
No, but it's,
But actually,
but there is a precedent, and we vote on appropriateness to the neighborhood, to the sign, very specific. So if somebody came in, Savory Bites did not get approved.
Right.
Because of what that was. This is a very, very different thing. It's tasteful, it's not a lot of illumination, and, aside from the way it's hung, which can be modified, I think the sign is very nice, and I would vote for it.
I just want to point out that the flower crowd sign, all the illuminated signs you mentioned were north of the east of the 7th Street Park. So that's why there was an exception made for that sign in,
Who made that?
but wait, hang on just one second. It is appropriate to that neighborhood because that neighborhood has a lot of illuminated signs. This neighborhood is actually more residential than commercial, or has a combination of residential and commercial that's very different from 3rd Street on up. And so that's another consideration.
And I walked by it. I went to see it and lit. It's
It,
not at all, oh my God, look at that thing. It's not a beacon of,
no,
You
it's
would
not.
not-
It's very.
you don't even notice it unless you're looking for it. So, while we have precedent to call on, this particular sign, the sign itself, I think we vote on appropriateness for the street, for the neighborhood, and for the historic district is appropriate.
Can I suggest something?
Yeah.
Can we bifurcate these two subjects? I feel like there's one subject around internal illumination that we need to opine on as a group and make a decision on. Do we want to put more controls in it or not? And then there's the question of how this sign was attached to the wall. And if we could give feedback to
The applicant.
to the applicant to say, can you just go back and think, can you take that sign and tweak it so it's not just bolted on to that pilaster, that maybe it's finding a different location to add it on and keep the main tenets of the sign intact? Just think about other options, or maybe talk to the sign company and say, is there anything we can do here to make it not come out of that pilaster? And I think we'd be open to those suggestions. We can talk about the internal illumination. Generally, I'm seeing that most people don't have an issue with the illumination of this sign specifically, but we can't vote on that right now. But I think the problem that I see with the sign is the way it's attached to the wall.
Understand. I mean, we did, you can trust us that we did design, we talked to the design team before even designing the sign, and we thought about different placements. They suggested that this is the best way because there's no other really space. I can still go back to the conversation. I can maybe create, a written form of why we decided to do it this way. But I really would love to, community members who didn't, see the space yet, please come and see in real life as well, because it's really hard to, there's no other placement for the sign, really.
It might be helpful if you go back to your sign maker and they give you the alternatives that they looked at.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can show the commission.
Because a hanging sign would work there just fine. If you had just a bracket coming out and it was hung, and you can illuminate those signs, that would have been fine.
That's gonna change the character of the building as well. That's what I kind of want to focus on as well, because I feel like the way it is placed as of now, it's gentle, it's simple. It's as Sir, you said it, that it's like you can even not see it very well, like if you're not looking for the space, right? But there's some signs on this plaque that are really big, and they're where you're hanging on the sidewalk. It's different. It's a different. We want it to be simple, gentle, safe as well, because it looks really beautiful as well.
This may not be of interest to you at all, but another option would be to put it inside the window with the light shining out. There are a number of examples of that in different parts of this.
Because we will be having a sticker on the window having a sign is important, for business owners as well. For us, it's important to have signs. Many of the places on Warren Street, they do have signs that they are all very different.
I remember.
Commissioner, may I make a suggestion? You might poll, as you often do, the commission to see what, I don't think, I have a problem with it being a fixed cluster. I don't think you guys. I think,
No,
you do.
it's the code. You can't do it. Had the process gone where it was applied for to show Craig, it wouldn't even gotten to the commission.
In this regard, I think everyone's unanimous about it, that this is not an appropriate way to fix the signs to this building.
Correct.
Okay, we can do this real quick in terms of the show.
I'm sorry, I also have a member of the public,
Okay.
but would you like?
Let's hold quickly on, first of all, the Blaster, is, no go. All in favor, I get that. Is there an option if we can?
Give them the opportunity at least to show you that there is no other location. I mean, I don't know if that makes a difference, or, other than that.
I stood outside for about 20 minutes with the gentleman there, trying to find a space for the damn thing. It's the way that facade was constructed, it actually is a very delicate facade. And it's actually a very delicate sign that fits the facade more than any options that we were able to come up with, but I get it.
But is it, I think it's a beautiful sign. I think it looks great where it is, but that being said,
It has to go.
there is code. And for us to ignore that,
But it wouldn't pass code, we're clear, it wouldn't pass code or give or.
No, it wouldn't have gotten.
Then there's,
Craig is online. I
Craig,
also
you want
have,
to comment?
Craig,
Yes.
did you want to comment on, we're discussing the Taiga, the sign that is now on screen?
Yeah.
Did you want to discuss the application process? I believe the applicant was not aware that he had to submit something to you.
Yeah, I mean, the sign was placed, after interviewing the applicant, the restaurant owner. They weren't aware of requirements for signage and historic preservation, things of that nature. That these things happen. I went down and looked at it. I did tell him that he was gonna have to remove it, but after looking at it, I decided to tell him just to leave it there, keep the illumination off, because if the commission does approve where it is, then just removing it could cause even more damage to the building. But obviously, if it doesn't get approved, then he's gonna have to either. I don't think there was any intentional code violation here. The sign is within the criteria of our code. It's just really the violation is no sign cement, no historic preservation certificate of appropriateness. So I don't think there was any intentions to just disregard the code. I do believe that after interviewing him, like I said, I believe it was done not, to cause any harm to anything. So, and it's not in violation other than the process.
so then that's not true, so it's not, we can't, it's up to us.
okay, well, that's, okay, that's not what I understood as for the last meeting.
Craig, in terms of the sign being placed on a feature of the entrance, which is that pilaster, given, well, what would code have told you if they had actually gone through the process in terms of how that sign was placed?
Well, it's it's not near the entrance of the facility. So again, at the beginning, if they would have came to us and wanted to apply, we obviously wouldn't have told them to put it anywhere. We always will tell an applicant they have the right to apply to propose what they want. It's up to the approval process to where it goes and how it gets attached and things of that nature, providing that the attachment is secured and it's at the the proper height and of course, the proper size. So, generally this doesn't happen. I can't recall, how many times we've had a sign that's been installed without proper approvals and reviews. Very, very seldom, if any, and probably the last few years. So, there again, if this would have been done the right way from the beginning, that sign wouldn't even be there.
But since it is that what you're saying? Because
No.
What-
Well, what I'm saying is, since it's there and it's been installed now, again, I did order him to remove it, but then after looking at it and he is proposing to obviously leave it there if he got his approval, I felt by removing it, it could cause more damage to that attachment. And then if today he was approved to put it there in the first place, then they're going to put it back. So it was a judgment call on my end as the code, and I have that right to do that. And it was like, okay, at the end of the day, if he does not get approval, he will have to remove it, and he will have to make the necessary repairs to the facade of that building. But to eliminate any undue damage, I gave him the opportunity to come in front of the commission to seek approval. So again, if you folks say no, then he has no choice but to move it.
It's interesting conversation.
I have a hand raised.
Yeah.
Uh,
Public persons.
yes, Mr. Kopnicki, Mr. McGee.
Yes, this is Matt McGee. I've owned several stores. They've all been in historic districts. My original store was in Greenwich Village, and it was in a bay-windowed storefront.
Could you speak up, please, sir? We can't hear you.
I have had several stores, and they've all been in historic districts. And I was in Greenwich Village, windows and bay windows on the front. And traditionally, the signs for a building like that with window arrangements of that sort, they were put in the middle where the doorway is. And they were on a bracket sticking out. And they were not, of course, in the 19th century, they would not have been illuminated. And I never had an illuminated sign, and it really did not cause any problems for business. And the other thing with this sign is,
Sir, I'm sorry, we just can't hear you. You need to speak and fix your microphone. We're not able to hear you.
oh, I'm sorry, I'll try again.
Okay.
Anyway, I have had stores in historic districts. My first store was in.
Do this.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
No, we cannot.
Come back in later in the meeting. There's time for you to come back in. We will.
This is Ronald Kopnicki. Can you hear me at all?
Yes, Ronald, could you speak up, though?
Okay, Matt is going to try again. Come around. I'm not sure if we're having a problem with our microphone. Normally we don't.
It's going in and out like a
we
wave.
can't, yeah, you're not, we can't hear you consistently, so your microphone's having issues, so.
I'm sorry, guys, you gotta fix this. We have, a dozen other
As far as
people.
it goes, technically, we can't hear you consistently either, so.
I'm sorry.
No, it's even worse.
We're gonna move on.
You can come down to City Hall. Yeah.
Jen, what do we have up next?
Okay.
We need to figure out what we're communicating to the applicant and Craig going forward, if anything.
I think Craig did the right thing by leaving this. I would just mention for this that he would be unfair to make the applicant remove it. That said, there does not seem to be a groundswell support in the commission for letting this remain plaster.
No,
The damage to the plaster I have no idea what it is. It could be fairly significant, so we're raising our stakes on this game.
You know, I think Greg's input was helpful, very helpful, you know.
He said he would, possibly have let this go through.
And well, now that it's on there and that the damage to the pilaster can be more significant by removing it. And, you know, what we as a commission really have, well, I'll speak, what we were talking about is the way it's attached. I have no problem with the sign or the internal illumination. I think it's appropriate to the building. And if it's going to cause more damage by removing it, replacing it, or doing whatever has to happen, I would, you know, personally leave it.
John, I think that unfortunately that's rewarding bad behavior, so he says, or precedent. The idea is that,
We're acknowledging a honest mistake.
sure, but the idea is that we can alter significant sort of features on a building like this. And then use the fact that it's been altered as a reason for not requiring remediation is problematic.
Well, but we've had issues over the years of whole, you know, garages being built larger than they respect, and we have to leave them because they were built. Maybe there was a fine, I don't know, but you know, this is where we are now. And every project, every sign, every window is taken in as a separate, you know, it's a separate project. So we consider it, you know, there is precedent to some degree, but also this particular thing, that's where we are right now. And, you know,
We're assuming that plaster is restorable, which is, it's metal, right?
It is metal.
Is it iron or, I'm sure it's not a modern material.
I think it's a modern, yes, but
Just pass it.
Great, so we have damage.
Just make a comment. I'm actually reflecting on what Victoria said earlier about hardship issues.
We're
I think-
considered hardship.
We are allowed to consider hardship. I think we have made it clear that we would prefer not to have internal illumination, and we would very much prefer not to have it attached to this plaster. I think it would be fair to give the applicant an opportunity to go back to his designer, to think about the input that he's had today, come back in 2 weeks and present to us again. You have every right to say, this is the only thing that will work for me. I have to have this. But I would appreciate very much if you would consider if there are other options. And if you feel that there are no other options, then you need to tell us why those options are impossible. And then we will consider the application with all the relevant information.
Appreciate that, Martha. And your hardship point is very clear in the code. We're absolutely allowed to take that into consideration.
What do you think?
I think the hardship provision is intended for those making applications for a certain type of modification. I don't think it's intended to be used as a rationale for not meeting something that is violating the codes.
I think you deny under your standard criteria, you would consider hardship based on usually money, but, you know, I think maybe there's something there. If there's no else for the sign, that it's for business.
and code enforcement stated pretty clearly that we're agree with that.
I mean, of course, it would have been better if you had come to us with the design and we could have discussed it then, but that's, here we
did
are
it.
now. That's water's under the bridge. We can't go there.
And as Craig said, it wasn't done maliciously.
No.
Why can't they go hang a sign over the doorway? Why couldn't you hang a sign on
the bracket?
I think
You gotta work at the building, but
Yeah.
we're asking you to go back to the sign folks and
I mean, definitely do that.
determine location, determine cost and other implications, pulling that out of the plaster and what it would take to restore the plaster.
I think we could
There's two options, right? It's the option you put forward or we vote now, and I feel that right now the vote would not be in your favor. So we're trying to give you a path forward that gives you a little more flexibility to get what you want and also the appropriateness of the commission.
It gives you a chance to respond to our concern.
Of course, and of course, I can do that.
Are you open tonight? You are.
We are open to it.
I would urge folks to walk by and with Craig's permission, I would urge you to, actually turn on the, illumination so the commission can see what we're talking about. It is a pretty mild bit of illumination compared to wood signs, flush signs.
It's a very
and probably
tasteful-
every other sign on the corner. So, you're gonna have to come back, but please do walk by.
So is there any option, so for now, this with Greg, I decided till this meeting today, we would turn on the light on. Is it possible that you would allow me to at least for this weekend again with the light on? It's, you know, I'd love to if till the next.
That's up to Craig. He is,
He's
the
online.
only one who can, determine, turning stuff, turning off, et cetera. Craig, could we have permission for him to have the light on this weekend?
As of now, no. And the reason being is because as of City Code Section 124, all electric that is installed, altered, replaced, or repaired needs a permit and needs a third-party electrical inspection. And that has not happened here yet. That's why I ordered it to be not illuminated, because the power that's, feeding that illumination has not been inspected by a certified electrical inspection. So for me to allow that thing to be on, knowing that that hasn't happened, that's in clear violation of a safety code. So that's very, very important that no. I wouldn't have a problem with it if like a few of the commissioner members went there and he would just turn it on while you're there and turn it back off. Because that, for safety standards, they're standing right there and you could do that. But I do not want it on a continuous basis until that electric has been inspected.
Understood. Were you aware that you need an electrical inspection on that?
Yes, we spoke, I literally just got back to us yesterday and I will be on it. So next week I will be in touch with Mr. Greg and I will make sure that that's.
We'll follow what Craig's instruction then, folks may come by, and they'll come by this evening and catch you there and just turn it on, turn it off as we take a look at it.
Of course, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll be back in 2 weeks. Yes.
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 Thank you, everyone. I will go.
Thank you, Craig. Next up, I believe we have Walter Chatham, 123, it's a continuation, 123 Union Street.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jan, would you mind putting it up so that we can do our usual efficient presentation?
Okay. Did you send new documents to Craig?
Yes, to you and to Craig.
Okay. So I'm not sure that I received them, but let me see. Sorry.
No worries.
Why,
Yeah.
Walter, while Jan is looking for that, I received the full copy. I don't think we received it in an email, and the copies I have, I'm unable to email. So if you can share them, Walter.
Okay, I'll attempt to share my, sorry, go ahead.
I think, was that dated July 1?
Let me just check.
That's the revised date that I have on this plan, yes.
Yes, and
Okay.
that sounds right.
Okay. Let me just share it.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Apologies.
No,
Okay.
I appreciate this. Yes,
Okay.
that looks perfect, thank you.
Okay.
So we presented at last meeting and we were determined not to have a completed application. So I've gone back and indicated where the windows have been blocked up, the 2 windows that were in question, which you can see there. And if you go down to the lower 2 right-hand photographs, there's both a photograph of how it now appears on the outside and on the inside. And we've also added on the west garden elevation the indication of where those masonry ties are that tie that beam, because I think this is very important to say. The windows that we originally wanted to open up, we didn't actually have room for them, and that was my error. And these windows would fall right at a partition that is going to hold that beam up. That beam is not very stable in that wall. So basically, we believe that filling those windows in and reinforcing the beam are fairly important structurally for this house. I'll say that. And then the other part of this application is we've requested the right to retain the porch, but the railing that's on the porch now, which you can see in the photo just below the porch elevation, is not to code, not particularly attractive. So we're asking permission to put a kind of standard vertical picket 4-inch spacing wood railing there, very simple, that would just be painted to match everything else. And then there are on the ground floor, you can also see in the photo there, 3 iron columns. We'd like to wrap those in wood. That'll make the columns a little wider and also make it a little bit more historically consistent with the building. So I think that's it. Everything else we had already received permission to do.
Thank you.
So, sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, motion to find the application complete.
Yes.
Hugh and John, all in favor? I will waive the public hearing, request the city hearing, Piercy Bay. Miranda and Jeremy, all in favor? You got it, Walter.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Next up, we have some new applications, 209 Warren Street.
That's me. I'm Kevin Meehan, opening up a running shop at 209 Warren. I submitted a permit for a sign, a hanging sign in the original brackets above the store. It would be like a next gen sign, wood sign, 24 to 30 inches.
Okay, let's see.
I can share my screen if it would help to show the bracket and show the logo that the store has.
Yep, that would be perfect. I'll stop sharing and you're up. Thank you.
Great. Of course. So there's the bracket. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. And then I have a logo to the right. I've already painted the signs with painted the windows with consistent messaging. It is a run shop. It's got apparel, footwear, and it's going to be like hopefully a little bit of a community hub for existing run clubs. And the sign is going to be completely consistent with this. It'll probably be on either wood or white background. Just wanted to make sure I was going to be able to receive approval before getting Next Gen to mock something up, and probably look something like some of these logos. Any questions?
Kevin, I think we have to know which of those it is, technically, right, Victoria? And so you may have to choose one, or the only impact to you will be a delay. If you tell us it's going to look like that right there, then we can approve it today.
Great.
If you tell us
This one's great.
we can't.
Yeah, no, totally understand. This is the one I've been, settled on it for weeks now.
And you've just gone through, Craig, and it's the right size and it's hanging at the right height off the sidewalk. Is that correct?
Yes. It will be like right above. It'll be right in line with this gap here and extend out to like right beyond the bracket.
Mhm.
How are they designated in the file? Are they A and B, 1 and 2? Or be clear if you're assigning
Which, which logo or signage, is it A or B?
Just the one that says neighbor running in yellow and orange
Let's call
right
that
here on my screen. I'll call that A.
Okay.
Yeah.
A.
Okay.
Motion to find the application complete, but, Hugh and Jeremy, all in favor, motion to waive the public hearing, request the city attorney to prepare a COA. Can we go with Miranda and Hugh, all in favor?
Aye.
And in 2 weeks, you'll have your certificate.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck, Kevin.
Next up is 117 Warren Street. It's a demolition and a new build for a garage. And our applicants are here in person.
Morning, everybody. Morning. My name is Mark Bailey. I'm an architect out of Chatham. Barbara Burns, the property owner. Just gotten our application into Craig the last couple of weeks. Do you have that?
I do.
available to pull them? So our address again is 117 Warren Street. We're considering rebuilding a garage on Cherry Alley. It's not visible from Warren. This is kind of our alley elevation we've seen, saw there. And then a couple of pages.
Which page
later,
would you?
Toward the end of the package, you see some photographs that I can walk you through.
This?
Yes, yeah, just to orient you to the existing condition. This is part of the garage right now. It's 2-car garage, takes up most of the width of the property. This building is the neighboring building. It's a multi-car garage, quite wide because that lot is a bit wider than ours. This is a photo that shows both Barbara's current garage and the neighboring building. We're proposing a garage that's approximately the same height as this neighbor and takes up the majority of the lot width there. The current building and the proposed building cannot be seen from Warren. If you're super careful, you might see a sliver of it from Union. If you squint your eyes real well, know what you're looking for and look over that, over the existing.
Or going back to the existing structure is, what changes are occurring in terms of height, width, and street presence?
The width of the building is just getting nominally wider. In this drawing, I'm not sure if you can zoom in a little bit. In this drawing, if you could read this kind of orangish, brownish line, is the existing 2-car garage. And we are making the garage slightly larger, about 3 feet wider and a couple feet deeper, so that we can get a stair up to the up to a second floor studio loft. So if you remember from the photo too, the existing building is only 1 story tall. We're proposing a 2-story.
What would be the height?
Around 20 feet. It should flex through maybe the building elevation.
Which, this one?
One of the first ones, Jen.
So this is the proposed, sir?
Correct. Where's the stairs? Sorry.
Inside.
The stairs are inside. Oh, I see. They're on the backyard side.
Is that a vertical wood siding?
That's what we planned right now. One of my questions, because we've just put this together so recently, one of my questions is whether it's visible, whether it's 40 minutes. And input on our application, or was unclear on that? And then what criteria we made. You're in the historic district. In a subsequent, meeting. Okay.
So we do weigh in on things like the materials that's used on the exterior, even the lighting, those things that we part of your application.
I thought there was a visibility criteria there.
Yeah.
No, okay.
You mean, no, Cherry Alley.
Cherry Alley is pretty close.
It's on Cherry Alley.
Yeah.
Cherry Alley's part of this.
Okay.
What do you mean by lighting, like from the outside of the garage?
Yeah, just what you're using there.
Oh.
So the neighboring garage has a stucco finish to it, and of course, when we build proximate to a property line, we have to have a fire rated wall. Spoken to the builder just recently, we could, if it's more attractive from the board's perspective, we could stucco the alley side. We're really looking to provide a reasonably simple structure and relatively uniform.
Usually when we look at it in relationship to the main house and just so there's some conversation. They don't have to look exactly the same, but there's some.
That was our intention, was to make it as close to the main house as possible, looking. That being.
Janet, can you zoom in on the bottom right? please?
Yes.
So that's the main house, the gray.
This is the main, this is the back of the
That's the
main.
backyard side. I think the Warren Street side is painted like Charleston gray or a color very
Jenny's
similar.
gray is the front of the house, and that's what I'm going to paint the back of the house once I get to that stage. It'll be the same color as the front, which is, you can kind of see it on the outside of the windows. Up here, not down here, but the outside of those windows are that gray, that Charleston gray, Gettysburg. And that was the color I was thinking of doing in the garage. But
The color is not really our concern, material.
Materials.
So the
Did we
current
cover
construction
penetration?
is forward and back.
pardon me?
Did we cover fenestration?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
And what did you say the current material was?
Oh, what it's made out of now? It's like wood and cement, would you
Yeah,
know?
it's just a kind of a board and batten you can see there.
And the garages are aluminum?
The doors are.
What are we planning to use? Not the existing materials.
Which doors? Are you replacing the doors in the new?
We will be replacing the doors and we have not gotten to that point. So if you'd like to give us some suggestions for what couldn't be used or what could, I mean, I haven't gotten there yet.
Can we go back to the elevation if anybody else?
Yeah, I think just one page prior shows, 2 pages prior maybe shows, all.
It's built way down into the backyard now.
This drawing, at least it shows approximately the cornice line of the adjacent building. It has a ridge that's a little higher. Our building, we were proposing a very low pitch or flat roof. This is the alley side, this is the backyard side, and then this is just a simple representation of the neighboring garage on the east side. But, you know, as I read kind of the composition of this building, we were just considering a very kind of simple, as I mentioned earlier, relatively unadorned facade material.
I think that we have to also take into account the specifics of the application. What exact windows you're using, what exact doors you're using, what exact garage doors you're using.
Sure.
So maybe you have to come back to us with all of that.
Yeah.
And do you have like suggested guidelines or do they just leave
We'd like to say,
them look as old as possible?
well, wood is, or.
But would an aluminum garage door be prohibited?
necessarily, no.
What,
But it's how it looks, right?
yeah, it is,
So
and,
what the
and
finish-
whether it fits reasonably within the neighborhood now defined really is what else is on the alley, and I'm sure it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's all, that alley is all.
I don't recall being terribly consistent, would you?
I do not, I agree.
Do you recall the neighboring building going through this board? The one to the,
Nancy Kyle's, I think he's talking about Nancy Kyle's.
we took,
That's been there quite a while.
we took cues from that building, would that be appropriate? You can see here, right around the orange, just solid painted, the doors. Relatively simple windows and a very simple, facade material.
The thing that, the building that you're proposing is kind of a shed style, which is something that exists a lot on the alleys. My only concern about it is, and I don't know if we have the precise measurements, that it's a little bit taller than the roof line of the adjacent building. It's a little concerned about the mass of it. And it seems to me that it might fit better if it were the same height as the adjacent building. I mean, this is a little bit misleading because the adjacent building has a peaked roof. So,
Correct, so that grid should be, that building would actually be taller than ours.
That would be,
both
yeah.
garages on either side have a peaked roof in different directions. Right, like one of them goes this way and one of them goes this way. I think we'd have an easier time making a decision about this if we saw it in the context of the two neighboring buildings.
Do you have photographs of a couple of the buildings on the neighborhood that would be indicative?
Well, you mean more than what's in these photographs? I mean, this one runs the length for entire property. That's that big federal building right next to me.
Right.
And apparently, I think it was like against code if the windows are on the side, but I'm not sure and that was pretty good when I moved in. But that's a massive building. It's much higher than what I wanted to do.
It is indeed.
I think it's hard to get, because the alley's so narrow, it's hard to get photographs that show a lot of context all at once. We can certainly shoot more photographs and
Which
return
one reason
with more.
Well, I personally don't have a scale issue. People we've allowed stuff to go through thinking one way or another, and a lot of it comes out large. This is not that. People are building basically, other home spaces, on the alley in some cases, and, my understanding is this is garage with some utility space above it.
We're sensitive to the height, so we're approximately as tall as the cornice line, but given practical clearance heights from the garage level to the ceiling, and structural requirements, we may be a little taller. We haven't finalized structure quite yet, but that's what I'm representing just on a preliminary level, that we're approximately 8 inches taller
But
currently.
it won't be high, it can't be higher than the Nancy Kyle garage. I mean, the one.
Not higher than the ridge,
Right.
correct? Understand.
Were we able to pin down materials, or are we still looking at materials? Is there some agreement that you're using wood siding, that, there can be wood garage doors?
The one garage, this is, when I redid the front of my building and the whole thing about the wood doors, and we went through the wood doors in the front of the building. Does it have to be wood garage doors?
No, paintable would be, useful though, so it's not
So it's not,
glaring, shiny silver material.
okay, that's fine. Or something that had a wood finish on it. Yeah, there are a lot of garage doors that people use that have a wooden facade that folds. Yeah. So it's still, it's still an overhead. I just want it to be practical.
That's how I understand the neighboring garage doors. I think for security purposes, we wouldn't want glass and they have overhead doors.
Right.
We want them solid, rather flush and painted. And then the exterior material to fire rate the walls that are along along the shared property line would likely be stucco, whether we bring stucco across the alley side or change materials there for historic purposes, we could certainly consider. Vertical wood is one relatively economical option that we got there. But we imagine painting the whole building rather monochrome.
Yeah.
Paint scheme. So the fire code is code enforcement, it's Craig.
Yes.
If he feels he's in the fire safety, then we have to go with that.
Yeah.
So you'll get back to us with a list of materials and specific doors.
Yep. We do that, yep. Lighting,
Everything, anything you can spec.
Lighting,
yourself.
windows, materials for the exterior, the doors.
Something like that.
we'll do that.
Okay.
Great, good, thank you, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good,
Thank you very much.
what do you got, Andy?
Okay. Next up, I have 326-328 Allen Street, and I believe our applicant is on.
Hi, Jan, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. Would you like me to
Great.
share the screen or?
I'd be happy to share the file from my side.
Wonderful,
for you.
thank you.
Right, and I regret I wasn't able to join everyone in person today. In the future, I will definitely do that because the audio is a little tricky, as it turns out, but I can hear everyone well.
You're very clear on this end.
Okay, great. All right, let me pull this up. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Yes.
So, so this is an application to replace an existing backyard fence in 3 sections. I think probably the quickest way to orient everyone to the project is I'll flip to the existing conditions, which are on page 10. So this is, if you can see this photo, this is the existing fence that I'm proposing to replace. As you can see, it's severely dilapidated.
Brian, zoom in on that a bit. It's a little small.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Great.
So the existing fence is significantly decayed and rotted out. And it's also constructed of materials that are mismatched. It's not a consistent design. That was a run along Partition Street, which is most relevant in terms of visibility from the street. These on the left on this page, if you can see, the gate here is visible from Allen Street. It's set back mid-block, maybe 50, 60 feet from Allen Street. And then on the right side of the picture, that's interior of the lot, not visible from the street. And then here is a view with some of that vegetation cleared. Again, this is Partition Street. And you can see it's kind of a mishmash of different materials and barely standing at this point. So if everyone's clear on the existing, I'll flip to slides of what I'm proposing to replace it with. On the next page, 13, basically it's pretty straightforward. This is, the proposal is to build an identical fence to the fence next door at 330 Allen Street. That's the property owned by Peter Meyer and Janet Keeley. And you may recall, I believe 2 years ago, they got approval for a COA to replace their old fence, which was in similar condition to mine at the time. And they constructed this. Here's a couple more views of it. And you can see it's a very standard design. There are other examples in the neighborhood, including at 6 West Court Street, the Purple Victorian on the corner of Allen has a very similar fence. There's another one further down on Partition, but for purpose of the application, I focused in on the next door fence because the plan here is to basically continue the same. And so here you can see most clearly, this is Partition Street again. On the left side of the picture is Peter and Janet's new fence. On the right side is my old dilapidated one. And the proposal here is to just continue the same run, same materials, same design, and make one continuous run along the two lots of the same style fence. The siding is rough cut hemlock. It's a, you know, in this picture, it's been allowed to age for a couple of years nicely to a nice gray patina. And I can flip to the schematic so you can see where it's all going to go. This is a zoom in, if you can see this, of the backyard. And so you can see the green shows the new sections that will be replaced, and the location of the gates. So, you know, again, when all is said and done, you know, the intention is to just continue the same exact style and design and materials as next door. So there's not a visual interruption either from Partition Street or, for that matter, from within my backyard.
Okay. I think we know materials, layout, it's consistent with the neighbor. Propose that we move this forward.
Motion is finding the application complete, if you wish. Stephen Jeremy, all in favor. Motion to waive the public hearing, request the city attorney to prepare. Miranda and everyone Jeremy, all in favor. 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you, everyone. Very much appreciated. Just for my awareness, when will I receive the certificate of approval?
The process is that the city attorney prepares the actual certificate based on the outcome of this meeting. That meeting goes to the commission 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
And we vote on that meeting, and you will have your certificate within a day or so of the 25th.
Of the 25th. Okay. Is it fine to go ahead and proceed with the demolition in the interim?
That would be up to Craig.
Ask Craig.
Craig, is that okay?
Offline.
Yeah, offline him and
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
Brian,
contact
could you
Craig offline.
email him so there's follow-up.
Okay. We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Next
Bye-bye.
up is 13 South Second Street. Is our applicant here for 13 South Second Street?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hi.
Riley from Taconic Engineering. I can share my screen. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
Can you guys all see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, let me pull this up first. So this is the location of the house. There's a garage over here. And we're proposing a mudroom between the garage and the house. They want some sort of transitional space between the two. So on the back here, this is the proposed mudroom. It's 7 by 14 feet. Those are the exterior dimensions. The wood siding will match the existing. There will be wood windows to match the existing. And a wood entry door with wood steps, and your typical wood guardrail detail. Metal roof. We've got some snow slides up here just so people don't get pummeled with the snow. And then on here, we're matching the existing windows on this facade. And then this is the existing garage over here.
What is the existing roof materials on the house? Is it also?
I believe it's shingles, but I can confirm that with you. I don't have that information at the moment.
Is there a fence alongside this house or is this completely open to the street?
No, there's a fence all the way around.
So, I should say, apologize, you get, what's their name?
Okay. What the roof material on the house part was, she said with metal sheathing, metal roofing.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Is there a door there now, or what's there now?
Is there currently a back door on the house, like where this is?
Or a porch?
Yes.
Do you have a
Okay.
picture of that?
Um,
Love that on that. Thank you so much.
So
So the
essentially, the
door-
plan is to extend that existing entry just to the edge of the mudroom. So same style door, same style trim, same style stairs, but then you would be walking into the mudroom rather than directly into the kitchen.
Okay.
Very pretty, but,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't, sorry.
yeah. It's not useful.
Yeah.
I'm
Fine.
good.
Commissioners, you okay?
Yep.
Good. Motion from the application complete then. Hugh and Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to waive the public hearing, city attorney to prepare Betty Jeremy. And Hugh, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're good. The city attorney will prepare a certificate that gets approved 2 weeks from today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
541.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay, 541. 541 Union Street, or sorry, Warren Street.
Hi, good morning. My name's Courtney Wollaston. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. I am the architect representing this application, and one of the owners of the building is there with you all right now. I apologize, I'm not in person. It'd be lovely to be up there now. And I have not presented in front of you before. I'm happy to share my screen if that's helpful.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Just give me 1 sec.
So if you can sort of start with context, neighborhood, and then keep on pulling in.
Sure,
Great.
great. So again, just to give a little intro, because I haven't presented in front of you before, my name's Courtney Wollaston. I run a small architectural company in Brooklyn and on the Jersey Shore. And we do a lot of historic renovations in different municipalities. So I'm happy to be working in Hudson. So I am representing Emily Lemandry and Will Nassis. They're just purchased this building, and Emily's brand is MLE is the name of the company, and it's a women's fashion accessory brand founded in 2018, and they are moving from Saugerties to this building to have their brand flagship shop here. So our application is on this great corner where the public park in this 1860s federal style building that's been expanded on over the years, as you can see in the photos where the brick changes composition, and at the back of the building even turns into CMU extension. So this application is by and large a storefront renewal at the facade with a corner window to be integrated in the western facade overlooking the park. So our application is asking to take the existing storefront glazing that surrounds the commercial entrance and enlarge the height of it. And the brick sills are in a lot of disrepair, and the brick is visually not in great shape. So we're proposing to restabilize, we'll have to put in a steel lintel and rebuild the paneling around these existing commercial entrance. The window to the left of the commercial entrance, we propose to drop the sill and make it a separate entrance to the floors above, so that the commercial can be first floor space can be on its own. The existing water table and roofing will be replaced, and new sconces and a surface mount fixture inside the commercial entrance. The water table as it is right now, here's a photo from where we're assuming 1860s, of the building itself. And the federal style building's a little different because the facade normally would be very metered, but the two windows are off to one side here and one window in line to the other. So we will keep that configuration where the new door will fall in line with those windows. We're going to introduce a side storefront window to match the front storefronts that are enlarged. And that's at this side here. So here's the existing elevation, and that's where this new window will be placed. And the existing front facade is brick with the lower glazing. So we're going to enlarge the glazing and replace the water table with built up. Everything will be painted in an off-white color, and a replacement metal standing seam roof in a creamy white at the top. Let's see. Let me see if I can get a close-up of the rendering so you can see it. Yeah, so this will be what we're hoping with the paneling to look like, surfaced over the brick.
So you're not removing the brick face, you're gonna clad it in this wood?
Well, some of it has to be removed, right, to enlarge the windows and place a new structure above it. And the lower portions of where the sill are now are in a little bit of disrepair. So that whole brick sill will have to be taken out. And then, yes, we'll keep the brick structure.
Can you go back to the historic
Yeah,
picture?
that's my exact question. You see the historic photo?
Sure. It's a little grainy. And this was, I guess, called 299 Warren at the time. And then obviously this building to the right does not exist. It's the park now.
It's the building on the left. It says
That's the Z Hunt, correct.
Let's see. And it originally had people.
It probably had the cast iron fluted columns, I think,
Right.
and a cast iron beam. I'm
That's
assuming,
not, maybe not original to that structure also. That might have been a modification. Right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
and how the building currently is, the brick facade that is the storefront is proud of the brick above, where in this historic photo it was not.
That was my question. So if it is, right, if it extends beyond the facade plane of the building, then you're gonna clad it and move it even further out. Or
Yes, that was our plan. I understand where you're going with that.
Right. How much, I guess is my question, how much bigger, how much more into the sidewalk, for example, this extent?
Yeah, I would say it would have to be a minimum of 1.5 inches, right? Because we're gonna need something to carry these panels, and the panels alone are gonna be a minimum of 3/4. And it'll probably be built up a little bit more than that.
And how is it compared to the building adjacent? On the left image, is it currently flush, the two facades, or does the brick extend farther out into the sidewalk?
Give me 1 second, let me.
While you're looking, is Frank still on? I think he needs to address whether they can move further out.
I don't believe he is.
I'm here.
Oh,
What's the
So
question?
Craig, can they push the facade forward like that against the lines of the lot?
The paneling that they're gonna be putting on is going to be on top of the brick, so it's gonna push it out at least another 1.5 inches.
If it stays within compliance like any other encroachment, if it goes beyond the existing encroachment, then no, they're gonna have to seek approval from the owner of the property, which in this case would be the city.
Okay, so we'll have to assess that.
Yeah, Courtney, the brick is barely a facade, it's one layer of brick, much newer than the rest of the building. So I was under the impression we would probably need to take that off, right, correct?
Yeah, and I am looking now at the adjacency to the neighboring building. There is a downpipe separating the two, but it appears to be 2 inches past proud of the adjacent building. So, Will, you're right. If there was a cast iron beam behind this facade of brick, then it could be all taken down.
And real quick, is that Emily?
No, that's me, Will, and Emily's husband, and Courtney is the architect on the call.
All right.
Yeah.
I can meet with them if they want to schedule an appointment. We can go down and look to see about the encroachment issue, and I have to make a determination when I get a better view of it.
Okay, that's
Thanks.
great.
Give me a yell.
I would like to say, if I'm trying to not say, promise something that our clients didn't want to have a monetary impact about, obviously. But if this is truly like a rain screen and this brick is not really original, then I don't see any reason why it can't be taken down and built back as we're showing it. Then we wouldn't have a roof, it would just be a water table.
So that, to me, so it's kind of, I think that's worthy of consideration. Because then you're not just grabbing some later alteration, which is very awkward, right? You're greatly improving the historical integrity of the building in one aspect. So I think, that's worth considering, right? But again, I'm not saying that this is not something, I still think frankly it's an improvement. But if you're gonna consider that, that would be a vast improvement.
I agree with you.
What's the process for determining that? Can you do that on inspection and evaluation of what you got there? In terms of I understand you have to work with Craig on that as well. But do you think this is pretty viable? To limit the encroachment.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Sure, we're talking about the encroachment, and there are a couple bits. One is confirming with Craig, once you determine the encroachment, what's your process for determining that? Do you have enough information now to address that?
I think so, yeah. I think we can do a probe on the inside and see if the cast iron's still there, if there's something else there. We could definitely come up with a construction detail and figure out how feasible it is to take this facade off and rebuild it either in its current location or where it originally was. That's a bigger conversation. And I understand about the encroachment. So we'll get obviously the property survey and figure out where that line is and how we might be able to do that.
Would you be able to come back in 2 weeks with all that answered?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do that.
And they would also need material specifics.
Keep on going. What are you looking for?
You know, they're changing material.
Yeah.
Using new things, the facade, lighting, window frames, you know, what exactly we're using here.
Yep.
Are you on that? This stuff needs to be spec'd out so that it can be packaged for code enforcement to follow.
That's great. We do have some of that in here. It's always good to meet with you and just see, generally speaking, how this is perceived before it becomes like a real construction set, right?
No, for sure, much appreciated. So the specific materials, dimensions you probably do have, but materials on windows, and if you're gonna have lighting in the front, specifics on the lighting fixtures.
Okay.
And also the windows, are you keeping the 6/6 window panes?
We aren't touching the upper windows.
Okay, but the new windows that you're putting, oh no, the shop windows are. The one on the side of the building that you're proposing to add, what would that be?
That'll be fixed full glass, no division.
Which ties into the existing front window.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
not thinking about this bay window that exists on the side.
unfortunately not right now, no.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a great project, but we would like you to come back in 2 weeks with all that stuff answered out.
That's great. Yes, we can definitely do that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
You just say this, yeah, I just reiterate, this is a fantastic project, thank you. So you're gonna bring this, between this and your neighbor.
Yeah.
We have great hopes for the potential beautification of our park, right? So this is gonna go from a neglected little corner to June's.
Yeah.
Thank you for this work.
And can I ask if there's any other comments right now? I'd love to address them in 2 weeks at the same time.
You can, as you start working on it, get in touch with us.
Great.
Always with Craig on the issues you already discussed, and you can certainly get in touch with me, and I'll either try to answer or channel you through the commission architect if you be back.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I had a new, Craig, I think you sent me some materials on 31 Allen Street.
Yeah, I just wanted to go through my list. It appears, we'll talk about 31 Allen. That was an app that was sent to me a couple weeks ago. I missed it in my sending everything over to you. And as I was reviewing this morning, I realized that. So I sent it with, if the applicants are online, if they are, great. If you guys can look at it. If not, then, I'll reach out to them and get them here for the next meeting.
Okay, is there anyone online to speak for 31 Allen Street? 31 Allen?
It's a solar array, so they're probably, okay. Well, I'll reach out to them and tell them that they'll have to come to the next meeting.
Okay.
Also, Jan, on June 27th, I emailed over a wall sign application for 320 Warren Street. I noticed that wasn't on the list. I did send that to you.
Okay.
And I'm unsure if the applicant's online for that one. I told her to be here today, but.
And I'm sorry, what day was that?
I emailed it on June 27th.
Boy, I'm sorry.
The It's a wall sign app for 320 Warren Street.
Okay.
Is she here? I can't remember the lady's name.
Is there anyone online to speak for 320 Warren Street?
Well, that makes that easy. I'll have to reach out to her too.
Alina Tuyan.
Yeah, Arena. No, I guess she's not here.
Okay.
Any other business?
Some point when I talk about these signs. Not right now, but at some point we need to have a real discussion about it. We keep on like moving the same pieces around the table.
It is hard, and the Tiger-a-thon thing is very interesting, because on the one hand, it is actually one of the most delicate, carefully constructed signs. Certainly there's many others that exist, and I get what everybody's saying about figuring out some consistency, so we'll try.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Very well done, Joe.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
I move that we should say it over.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.